Okay. I'm gonna try and coax my dog out of the. Do you hear me okay? Deba. Playing hard to get. Okay. Hello. Um, Let me say hi to everybody. Okay. Nadira. Oh my God, so fast. Robin, Eva, Hanako Grace, Jolie, Robin Carr, Amy, I'm looking through the names. Nadira and Amy and Robin are having a great conversation. Ruth, Norwegian Wood, Atsuka Tanji. Okay, my dog is here. Okay, you want to come here? Come here, come here, come here. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody first. Show your face. Say hi. I am here. I am here. Yay. Ah, baby. Okay. Where was I? Atsuko Tanji. Norwegian Wood. PZ 48128. Amy Elazar Oraya Sarah Bangi Luna Mina Ava Helena Avaris Maritz Robin. Okay, Arlene user Y531 Jax Norwegian Wood Leia Pia Seda OSP Jax Carla Girl Amy C MJD Norwegian Wood Elazar Courtney Nikon Lady Lily Gigi Lizoa Simply JJ Darren Halinaw Kathy Pia Dodger Girl is on Twitch Lorena is also on Twitch. Ruth, Michelle Santiago, Jolie. They're saying hi to you, diba? Lindsay. Does Debak want an Aussie holiday? Do you want an Aussie holiday? He would love Australia because he loves nature. He loves hiking. He loves running. Especially if there are a lot of squirrels, he would love that. You sent me a DM on Discord. Okay, Oriah, I'll read that. Um, the guys are on the balcony. Are they on the balcony right now? So they went to the Mexican palace, their like White House or something. They were invited. I know people were waiting. Um, are they there already? Okay. Everyone hit the like button. The crowd is huge. I know. The crowd is huge. Nadira, can you give them the Mnet link? Oh, is this the coverage? Okay. 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 Um, Ophelia, BTS is speaking to a huge crowd live right now. Okay. Okay, so someone there you go. Coogie sent pasted a link. Are you able to see it? Can you see it? You can check out the link that he posted. I guess that's live or she posted, sorry. Um let me see. Can you guys see the link that she posted or he posted? I'm not sure if the there's only 110 people. They just went back inside the palace. Oh, they're there right now. Which link? It's right there on my screen. It's right there on my screen. You do not see it? Do you not see this? It's on my screen right now. Do you see it? No? Okay. 1 second. Um okay. I know why. Wait. You know, for some reason I can't copy his link. Okay, 1 second. Okay, sorry. I know so some people actually I know are um watching specifically for topics. Let me just find this link for you and then I'll start with the topic. Okay, 1 second. Life. Okay, 1 second. Let me just do this for you and then we can start. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get you the link. It won't let me copy. So give me 1 second and then I'll start with the topic. Dogs are the best. Mexican president loves BTS. Can we watch this live? Yeah. So, okay, here you go. Here. Okay. So there you go. But I think they went inside already. I mean, by the time that we started the live, it was like towards the end of them waving from the palace, and then they've gone inside already. But they said that they spoke in Spanish. Um, so I guess they were given like maybe they memorized it or something. Okay, so I don't think I can cover Coachella just because the other two topics that I'm going to be covering are pretty long. And then it'll have an extension. I'll explain later, but it'll have an extension for the paid subscribers. So the last words Ophelia said were mucho picante. Those were their last words. Okay, BTS cost the same as the other concerts. BTS would be better deal for what their concerts offer compared to lower efforts. Oh yeah, I actually wanted to put this. So this is the last haul. This is the last lipstick that I got that I have not tried. And my dog is very curious of the sound. So I'll try this. I'll put this on and then we can start. Wow, such a large crowd for BTS. Okay. So the feed is live, but they've gotten back inside already. Okay, so this is the last one that I will be applying. Coachella, what a mess. Okay, I hope this is a good color. Is that a good color? Try it on Deba. He's gonna hate it. Is that a good color? I don't know what this is. Is this like how's that? Good? Okay. It's like watermelon color. Yeah. Okay. So let's start. Where should we start? So I think I'll be able to cover two comprehensively. One is the chart master computation will actually compute how much they are earning from the streams as published by Chartmaster. Let's try to see how Chartmaster actually computed it. And the big question actually, this entire conversation started because Chartmaster published the number of streams for 2026 of the different groups. So BTS is 1.6 billion already. I think they're already at 1.7 billion at this rate. The next most stream, this is just for 2026 to date. Okay, so this does not include, this is not all time streams, just for 2026. So Stray Kids is 271, 179 million for Blackpink, 163 million for Twice, and Hypen is 162, TXT is 123, LE is 119, New Jeans 109, ILLIT is 94 million. So the big question, so the discussion actually started because after this one, after Chartmaster published this one, a fan base publish this, and this is the computation of Chartmaster on how much each girl group, or sorry, not just girl group, but each group actually earned um from the streams. Okay, so girl groups, not all groups. And it was surprising for a lot of people that Cat's Eye didn't even make the top 10. They didn't make the top 10, and they were the highest earning when it comes to streams. So they earned 863,000 for 28 tracks. Twice earned 804,000 for 331 tracks. Les Seraphim earned 592 for 121 tracks. Blackpink is 583, 597, and then so on. So do remember that Blackpink has the most number of streams for girl groups, 179. But they were out earned by Cat's Eye, who's not even in the top 10, and by Le Seraphim, who is number 7 on the list. Okay. K-pop. Cat's Eye is in K-pop though. Yes, I usually include them just because it's Asian entertainment and majority of the members are Asian. So I usually include them not because they are K-pop, but primarily because the members are Asians. Okay. But yes, they're not. You're correct. You're not. They're not. Um, they are not K-pop. Okay. So there are different things. So this is specific to Spotify as a number one consideration, and that's we need to understand that because they're the only ones that really publish the number of streams that each group or and each song actually gets. Okay. So there are different ways on how to compute how much a person, there are different components in the earnings of a group. Okay. And one would be subscription, those that are subscribed, paid streams or streams that are coming from paid subscriptions pay higher than than plays or streams that are coming from free. Free subscriptions or free streams that are coming from free accounts, you're basically relying on ads. Okay. And then what happens is that they put it in a pool. So all the revenue streams, ads, um, subscriptions, they put it in a pool. And then they pay out based on the share of total streams. Okay. Hope that's clear. Okay. Um, Now, let us assume that a song has 100 million streams. Okay, let's just pick whatever song with 100 million streams. And let us use a realistic blended rate. And that means the average payout per of Spotify is 0.0035 per stream. That's how much they pay a song, not a singer, but a song. So a song will earn 0.0035 per stream. So if you have 100 million streams multiplied by 0.0035, that would be 350,000 US dollars. But remember, this is the total earning of a song. It does not mean that a singer will earn this much from a song. Okay? Next. So if a song with 100 million streams earn 350,000 US dollars, you need to then divide that into two. There are two major buckets that get paid from that 350,000 US dollars. That would be the master recording and the publishing. Master recording is whoever owns the master. The master is the actual material itself, like the actual song, the technical, the physical side of the song. So usually, this is much contested because the master is the one that's being used by streams, by radio, by different broadcast companies. The master is the one that's being played. And so whenever the master is played, they get paid. Okay, so whoever owns the master usually owns the most. Okay, so usually that's the label. They usually own the master. The master gets paid 80%. And then the publishers earn 20%. Okay, so let's break down the master and the publishing. Okay. So for the master, you split it into two again. Okay. So 80% goes to the master, and then the master is split into two. That would be the label side, who's usually the owner of the master. Okay. And so 80, they would get about 280. So they get 80%, that would be about $280,000. And then 15 to 30%, depending on the deal. It can even go as low as 7%, depending on the power or the popularity of the artist. It can even go 7%. So royalty could be 15 to 30%, but realistically, you can probably estimate that more artists actually get paid about 7%. Okay. So from that, the artist could be getting 42,000 to 84,000 from this portion. So that's one act. That's all the artists, all the performers in the song. So the um if there is one person in there, then they get all the 42,000, and then if there are seven people in that group, then 42,000 to 84,000 divided by 7. That's the artist royalty, and then the rest goes to the master owner, the owners of the master recording. So as I've said, if there is one artist in a song, so for example, if it is just J Hope and he has no collaborator, then he will get for all the songs with 100 million, with 100 million streams, that would mean he's getting 42 to 84,000 US dollars. And then if there are seven artists, then that would mean they are earning 6,000 to 12,000 per singer, assuming they're all equal. I'm going to assume for BTS they're all equal when it comes to performances. Am I right? Okay. Let me know if something is confusing. If I'm not explaining it well, I'll be happy to clarify. Now, that's for the master owner. Okay, wait. So I know some people are going to ask, for like example for BTS, do they not co-own their master? Yes, but those are exceptions. BTS is always the exception in any rule, because they have so much power to negotiate, so much power to demand what they want, that most likely no one else in the world, or probably like only a handful of other performers, are getting the same rights and power as they do when it comes to negotiation. Okay? So when I discuss general rules, you can always assume that BTS is getting more, because I'm only discussing from the baseline. This is like the general practice, and BTS is nothing. It's not, they are not the general, they're not the rule, they're the exception. Okay. So that's for the master side. Let's go now to the publishing side. Remember, they're getting 20%, and then the master earns, the master owner, the owner of the masters, they get 80%. So we're now at publishing. Okay. So for publishing, they are getting 20% of that 350,000 US dollars. So you can split that between songwriters, producers, and publishers, or whoever may be the publisher. Okay. So if there are, naturally, if you have a lot of songwriters and producers in the track, then the split gets distributed a lot. Okay, so it gets thinner. The food that goes on your table gets thinner. Okay, so for 100 million streams, for which earns 350,000 US dollars, if we are going by the standard payment of 0.0035 cents per streams, then artists might personally see only a fraction of that, depending on contracts, again, and on credits. Okay. So let's put that, and then the other things to consider, we will compute that and put that, let's actually compute two different songs of BTS. But before that, remember these considerations. Major producers and composers are paid upfront usually. So if you're working with someone like Mike Will Made It or Diplo or whoever, uh, Tizo, Touchdown, they are most likely demanding an upfront payment. And then after a certain threshold is reached, then they start getting royalties. Okay. So for if you're like a Diplo or Mike will made it, 100,000, 200,000, that's like nothing, meaning that's like probably a realistic baseline. But it is very common for many composers, lyricists, and producers to ask for an upfront payment. And then once a certain threshold is reached, then they get paid royalties. Some producers and composers could give up their royalty altogether in exchange of an upfront payment. Okay. So this is like um, from the grapevine. Usually, a lot of producers and composers really prefer getting an upfront payment for obvious reasons, right? You want to get paid after the service is rendered. Okay. However, some rumors go around that because BTS earns a lot from their streams, and other performance revenue, many producers and composers are actually reverting back to the old practice where they just wait for the revenue. Because then at the end of the day, they get more. Because, for example, if I'm Big Hit and you tell me, okay, I want 500,000, half a million now, clean. I want half a million now. Then BTS Big Hit can actually negotiate and say, okay, but the threshold is going to go up to a million, meaning until we recoup what is supposed to be yours to a million, you will not get paid. They can negotiate that. I'm not saying they do, but they can negotiate it that way. Um, so then you may be getting more upfront, but lesser because the threshold is higher, as opposed to um, just getting it just getting the payment as the royalties come in. Then there is no threshold for you to reach. You just get your portion every month. Okay. And then for Big Hit and for Hybe, actually in general, they usually pay twice a month. It's like 1530, like a regular employee. The only thing is that they do, when it comes to streams, Spotify, for example, it takes them 90 days before they start paying off royalties. So you might get a delay of like 90 days. Okay. Okay. I hope all of those things are clear. And then royalty fees can really vary wildly. It can go as low as 5%, maybe even 3%. But then you have, again, BTS is an exemption. So they probably are getting more. And of course, you have top tier producers and composers who can ask for more money. Okay. So again, no, when it comes to BTS, you're talking exceptions, not the general rule. Okay. Next, other things to consider. BTS is always an exception to the rule. Their contract structure are very, very different. Never seen anything like that ever in the world. Not that I've seen the full contract. I'm only hearing from some people. But if there's any truth to what I hear, no other contract is structured that way, at least not in mainstream music. Okay. So they can command their own fees, they can command their own structure, they can demand things that no other artists or very few artists in the world can demand. So what I am presenting would be the general rule. Keep that in mind. Okay. So let's compute. Let's do a hypothetical computation. Let's compare how much Hegum would be earning versus Swim. Let us assume that each song, because Hegum already has like 800 million streams on Spotify. By the way, keep on streaming so we can get to 1 million. So Hegum already has 800 million streams, and Swim has like 300 million. I think it's gonna get to 1 billion really, really soon. Now the main difference is that for Hegum, August D is the lone performer, writer, composer, and producer. So he gets them all. He doesn't share it with anybody. As opposed to Swim, you have one performer, which is BTS. You always treat them as one entity. And then there are 13 producers and composers and lyricists. So, and one of them is RM. He's the lone BTS member that's in the song. Okay. So that spells a huge difference when it comes to computing. How when it comes to actually computing how much BTS or how much they're gonna earn from that song. Okay, one composer, producer, lyricist versus 13. Okay. Now, if we simplify everything just based on the simplified computation, then the song at 800 million streams, the song in general has earned 2.8 million US dollars. Okay, just standard. We're not talking about other things which we will be discussing. Okay, so 2.8 million dollars. That means the master earns 2.2 million, and then publishing songwriting earns 560,000 US dollars. Now, um this computation point zero zero, this is based on the computation 0.0035 cents per stream. That is, you take away the cut of the platform itself. So this is just cleanly for the producers, the master owners, and the performers themselves. Okay, so 2.8 million. That's how much the song earned. 80% goes to the recording side and the master, and then 20% goes to the publisher. Okay. So now for Hegum, okay, for Hegum, the publishing side would be 560,000 US dollars. Artist royalty is about 15% to 30%. That means that would be anywhere between 336,000 to 672,000. So, estimated earning of August D, Suga, is 896,000, between 896,000 to 1.232 million US dollars. That is before taxes, before recoupment, before publishing, admin cuts, all of those things. So, just for him, as an artist under the master and the publishing side, he's earning 896, between 896 to 1.232 million US dollars. Does that make sense? Does the computation make sense to you? Okay, remember that from the master side, the artist royalty is coming from the master side, the owner of the master. So he's the artist, remember, he's the artist. So 15 to 30% is his cut from the 2.8, from the 2.8 million total number of total amount that the song earned. Master and recording side earned 2.240 million. So from there, from the 2.2 million, he got, as a recording artist, he got anywhere between 336,000 to 672,000. And then from the publisher side, which is the 20%, because he's the sole songwriter, he gets that amount. The full 20% he gets. So 560,000, that goes to him and him alone. So if you add those two together, he's getting anywhere between 896,000 to 1.232 million US dollars before taxes, before recoupment, before whatever. So if he has a manager, they probably has a cut before all of that. He gets 896 to 1.232 million. Okay, I know it sounds impressive. Like, oh, wow, one song, right? And it is impressive. Some of us won't earn that in 10 years. So it's very impressive. And this is just one song in his album. However, do remember that when was Hegum released? Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So that 1.232 million is spread out across 5 years, or I don't know when. So Gemini got you. Okay, so 42% tax. So take that into consideration. Like, okay, it sounds a lot, but then that's spread out across 5 years, and they get paid twice a month. But then also, it's one song in his album. So, and he has many more songs in there. So, and the one thing about August D is that he does not co-write a lot. Like, he doesn't usually, he has a very small team. He collaborates with a very select number of songwriters in his album per song. So, which is the exact opposite of RM. He likes collaborating with a lot of people. Okay. I got a 25-cent raise this year increase. I'm impressed. Okay. All right. So now let's compare that to Swim. Okay, so let us assume that Swim also has 800 million streams. Not yet, but it's going to get there soon anyway. Let's just assume it has 800 million so that we're comparing apples to apples. So at the master side, 2.2 million. BTS royalty, and this is seven guys, okay? BTS royalty, 15 to 30%. They're probably going to get, so as an entire act, as a whole act, they're getting anywhere between 336,000 to 672,000 US dollars. The entirety of the group. However, you divide that by 7, you're looking at 48 to 96,000 per person for 800 million streams. Okay. Is it one-time payment? No. So in Spotify, you get paid. I think you start getting paid after 90 days and then you get paid monthly. Now, according to some sources, BT is for big hit, they actually pay twice a month, 15 and 30, or whatever that may be. So no, it's not one time payment. Whatever they earn on streams on for that period is what they're gonna get. Okay. So that means if for example Swim gets to 800 million in a month, that means in 2 months they would have earned each member 48,000 to 96,000 US dollars. Do they get paid quarterly or yearly? No, twice a month. Okay. So that's just for the performer's rate, the performer's fee. Okay. Now, since there are 13 songwriters in that song, you're looking at 43,000 per songwriter, assuming it's equal rights, meaning equal splits. Each songwriter is getting the same percentage of earnings. That's unlikely. But we'll just assume that. But again, highly unlikely. If you're working with somebody like Diplo, will made it, Mike will made it, that those different rates. But let's just assume that everyone is actually getting the equal amount of percentage in the song. Then you are looking at 43,077 US dollars once it gets to 800 million streams. Now, there's only one BTS member who co-wrote this track, Swim, and that is RM. So that means he has 48,000 as a performer plus the 43,000 as a songwriter. He's going to get 91,077. So he's the one who's going to earn the most from the title track, but by 43,000. That's how much more he's going to be earning. Okay. Um Explains the merch strategy. Okay, when you see computations on, oh, this song is earning the most, that means this member, like, for a lot of estimates are actually depending on that. When you go to Facebook or X, you usually see computations of how much a member is supposedly earning based on the number of streams and whatever. That's really faulty, because you do have to consider how much they are earning as a songwriter, and then you have to consider how many songwriters there are in the song. And then and this is just for Spotify. They're easiest to compute. Not you can never compute it exactly, but they're the easiest to estimate because the number of streams is visible. Okay. All right. So he's earning the most, 91,000. The rest are 58,000 before taxes, before all of those things. But I mean, come on. Some of us would actually earn 48,000 in a year, and then we still need to pay taxes, right? So I don't think it's bad at all. Okay. Next. So if you just compute this side by side, just so it's clear to everybody, you can see that because Hegum is written by just one person, and that's August D, then he's earning way more than Swim, who may actually end up getting more streams, but because there are so many songwriters in that song, then they're probably not gonna be earning all that much. So yeah, there you go. So for Hegum for August D, he earned on the low end 896,000, and then on the low end for Swim, members would be earning 48,000 and RM would be earning 91,000. He would get paid performance royalty or from the 48,000. Performance royalty is different, and we will discuss that later. There's actually something's really really strange about that, because even when they are the ones performing their songs, they still need to pay a performance royalty, and then they get paid by a different entity. So Big Hit still actually pays performance royalty, which is collected by someone else, and then they pay that organization pays them, pays BTS. Okay. But how did Cat's Eye earn more than other girl groups with more streams? Okay, we'll get to that. Okay. Questions before I move on to the next section. This is the Cat's Eye section now. That's a lot of basketballs, but not talking about taxes. So glad that Chow and Mo paid in full. Okay, do you have questions before I move on now to Cat's Eye and Chartmaster? The charts that Chartmaster actually published. Okay, so Chartmaster is the website, and they collect data from different platforms. A lot of the numbers, a lot of the graphs and the tables and the things that they publish, you do need to pay to be a paying member to actually have access to them. So some of it I will be showing you to the paid members, just to kind of respect their hustle, right? I mean, this is their website. So anyway, regularly, not irregularly. So regularly, they would publish the most streamed acts, the top earners in the industry, and then you can classify that by genre or by country. So, but usually their charts are general, and then you can just filter them. So you, the user, can filter them and then create your own chart. Okay, so here, the general most streamed acts on Spotify, they just published it, and BTS is number 11. Okay, you can see it there. Okay, this one you can access without having to pay for subscription. If you want to go, I think they published the first 50, and then the rest you're gonna have to pay for it. Okay. Um, Next. So as you can see there, you can click on the artist name, gender, language, genre, and then you can create your own, you can make your own chart for comparison, for analysis. And then on the side, you can choose like sales, stuff like that. They provide a lot. But the one thing that you do need to consider is that they are also doing estimates. Not They don't have direct access to payouts, to checks, to accounting firms or whatever. So those are also estimates. Pretty good estimates, but still estimate. Okay. Yoongi's making bank. Okay, so going back to what they published, Blackpink, their total streams for the year is 179, Twice is 163 million, and Hypen 162. LeSSERAFIM 119, 109 for New Jeans, and 94. Yet the top earners is Cat's Eye. The top earners are Cat's Eye. They're not even in the top nine. And then Twice, and then LeSSERAFIM and ILLIT. ILLIT actually earns more than New Jeans, even though New Jeans is actually streaming more. Okay, so how did that happen? Before that, I think my dog wants to go down. You want to say bye? And say bye bye. Say bye bye. Tell them I will see you all in Vegas. You will see my cuteness. Come on, say bye bye. Okay. You want to go out? I'm gonna open the door for him 1 second. Okay, he went to my mom. He's like, I'm done with you. All right, let's go to Cat's Eye. So, just for clarity, side by side, these are the number of streams and these are the earnings. As you can see, twice is only number two, but they are out earning Blackpink. Number four is Blackpink in terms of earnings. So for their 113 tracks, 179 streams, 179 million streams, they're earning 583,000 versus Le Sserafim, who has 121 tracks, but there's total streams. This is just Spotify. The Le Sserafim is 119 million streams, and they're earning 592. So way more than Le Sserafim. So why is Le Sserafim out earning Blackpink? Okay, so the number one reason would be the country where the streams are coming from. Okay. So payout really depends per platform and per country. But because this is just Spotify, these are just streams, we're just going to concentrate on the country itself. So one interesting thing is that there are basically when in terms of payouts, it's divided into three. You have the lower paying market, medium paying market, and then higher paying markets. So US, Canada, UK, Germany, France, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and then Nordic countries, these are higher paying countries. Usually Western countries, higher paying countries. As opposed to India, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Pakistan, Bangladesh, a lot of regions in Africa, Latin America, Thailand is one of them, Afghanistan, countries like that. They are lower paying countries. So even if you may have a million streams from the Philippines and only 200,000 from the US, but most likely you're getting paid more in the US. Okay. So if you look at the sources. Okay. My platform said that I got disconnected. Do you still see me? So it just says like you got disconnected and then it reconnected me. Okay, so if you look at the sources of streams of Le Sserafim versus Blackpink, you can see that Blackpink's a lot of their streams are coming from the lower paying markets. So they have the Philippines, India, Thailand, YG acts. They're getting a lot of streams from Thailand, and they're one of the lowest paying markets. So Philippines, India, Thailand, Indonesia, Mexico, Vietnam, a lot of their streams are coming from this country. You shift to somebody like Les Sserafim, their streams are coming from Taiwan, Japan. Those are two higher paying countries. US, Canada towards the end. And then if I extend it, if I show everything, you'll see like Germany, Nordic countries. So they're getting a lot of streams from these countries. And then they have very few lower streaming countries, lower payouts. So like Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, very few. And that is the number one contributor as to why they are getting paid more. And the gap is not even close. Like the gap in terms of payment, it's really big. So when platforms like Chartmaster compute the streams, the earnings, they look at this, they look at the sources, and then they compute. Okay. So this is actually a very popular trick for many artists. Many of their streams are coming from India and Indonesia and Thailand and Malaysia. There are streaming farms in that in there are many streaming farms in those countries. And then for YG, one of the things that they've discovered is that Thailand is a really active market when it comes to supporting um their act. So majority of Lisa's support, they're coming from Thailand. For the Jimin bias fans out there, we've seen how they moved against, well, just we've seen how they moved to support Ling Orm couple in during the Fashion Week 2025 Fashion Week. So we saw how their volume played a part in increasing the brand power of Ling Orm. Okay, just to remind everybody, what happened was Ling Orm couple tweeted, like, not tweeted, but posted about 60 times. And Thailand, even though they are a smaller base, they just bumped all the tweets that they did. And then Dior themselves, the official account of Dior, gave the Orm couple the account of Twitter, and then from the account of Dior on Twitter, and then from Twitter and Instagram, and then from the official account of Dior, the Ling Orm couple tweeted and posted on IG. So that helped the boost. Versus Jimin, I think posted one. Now he deleted it now, but he posted one. So if you look at the statistics, it's gonna look like they had more brand power. But if you look at the number of posts, obviously Jimin has more. But because of the number of times that they retweeted, that they posted, the brand power increased. So it's the same principle in Thailand. They don't have a lot of the payouts in Thailand isn't much, but because they're streaming more and they go behind, meaning they really support Thai artists, their tendency is to just keep on supporting. So they just keep on streaming. So even if they don't get paid, they get marked as a bot, the streams get filtered. For as long as they clock in the numbers, it contributes to the number of streams, but not to the amount of payouts. Okay, hope that's clear. Um Oh, so the concerts, yeah. So okay, so that's number one. It's where it's coming from. So in the end, and then the other thing is that the platform actually makes a difference. So Spotify is usually considered mid-range. YouTube Music is lower end, meaning they pay less. They pay the artist less per stream. And then the higher ones would be Apple Music. Napster is the highest, unbeatable. That's why I keep on encouraging people to stream on Napster. If you're going to get a second account, please consider Napster because they're the highest paying platform. Okay. So Spotify is actually mid-range. Now, it doesn't really play a part in the estimate of Chartmaster because, as I've said, they're only computing Spotify because they're the only ones that are publishing the number of streams. And then the other thing that can also, so basically empty streams, kinda, yeah. So, and then the other thing that could really affect it would be monthly subscription revenue versus ad supported streams. So those that are on monthly subscription, if you're getting streamed by people who are paying for their account, then you get a higher cut versus those that are streaming using a free account on Spotify. So that contributes. Now, it's very hard to determine how many of your streams are free and how many of your streams are paid. I know that there are some platforms that actually claim that they know how much of the streams is free and how much would be paid, but those are estimates, not really. It's not even close to, it's not even like an intelligent, like it's not based on anything. So at the end of it, 10 premium listeners can sometimes be more financially valuable than 100 free streaming accounts. Okay. So that also plays a part. Now, Spotify actually published a study explaining the difference of the behavior of those that own paid accounts and how they contribute to the popularity and success of the song and also the revenue of the song. Okay, they said according to their own study that premium listeners are actually more intentional. So those that actually pay, they create playlists of their own. They block specific, like they're very specific on who they're going to be listening to. They are proactive in like disliking songs that they don't like or artists that they don't like. They don't shuffle a lot, meaning they stick to their playlists and other specific playlists. So if you get more paid subscribers streaming your songs, most likely you will be recommended to other paid subscribers. Lookalikes is what they call it. So similar profile that are also paid. And you're also most likely going to get paid more because if it is a paid stream, they filter it less. They filter more on free streams. Premium users, they actively choose their songs, they build libraries or playlists, they they listen to the same artists more, and they save tracks on their devices. They don't just rely on actual streaming, they actually save the tracks. So, as opposed to free streamers, those that have free accounts, they're just more passive. Like they would press play and then let it run and they don't really pay attention, and then they opt out a lot of on they opt out on playlists. Okay. So Spotify itself has repeatedly emphasized that personalization and retention behavior among premium users, that's the biggest advantage. So now people are going to assume with this given, people are going to assume this is organic consumption, this is algorithmic consumption, meaning organic consumption are the paid subscribers and then algorithmic consumption would be free subscribers. So these are the listens, these are the streams coming from being recommended by the algorithm. Okay. So so now the other thing is that premium listeners listen longer. Free free listeners, free accounts listen shorter. And listening to a song shorter is actually one of the um one of the signals that they consider to be that they consider when marking someone a bot. So if a streamer or if a listener keeps on listening to only like the first 45 seconds, the first 1 minute, they don't really finish the song, you are most likely going to be marked a bot because that's bot behavior. Remember that for Spotify, listening to a song for 30 seconds would be considered a stream. So a lot of these streaming farms, and a lot of playlisters, those that get paid to playlist, they would play the song for 30 to 45 seconds just so it could be considered as a stream and then move on. So they know that when you are habitually not finishing the song, you're most likely a bot. That means that the stream count might be there, but the payout won't be. Okay. So, according to Edison Research, which they published in 2025, 66% of American streaming music listening time was on paid platforms versus 36% free services. So, in the US, there are way more paid listeners than free subscribers. Okay. Now, more real fans instead of vibers. Yeah. Okay. So another study that they played is that the study that they published is about um, uh, the signals that a platform sends, their algorithm sends to determine who are bots and who are not bots. Okay. So this is just the research showing that paid subscribers are now listening more than free subscribers. Okay. So which signals again an improvement in the streaming business. So a lot of people are asking, um, how about playlisting and ads? YG is known for using ads and playlistings. Could that actually take away from the revenue of a song? Well, yes, but not in ways that people think. Primarily because when Chartmaster, platforms like Chartmaster, compute the revenue of a song, I don't think that they know how much YG is actually putting or spending on playlisting. Right? They wouldn't know. How are they gonna know? I know that there are platforms who claim they know how many is paid, like how much of a stream is paid and how much is free. But those are wild estimates. It's not really based on anything except for one thing. Okay, and I'm going to discuss it. So if 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 a label spent like 100,000 on playlistings, yeah, of course that's gonna get out of their streaming revenue. But I don't think Chartmaster knows how much a platform or a label is actually spending on on paid playlisting. So I think they are estimating it based on the source country. So remember that if you are using streaming farms or playlisting, the sources of those streams are most likely coming from lower tier markets. So we just discussed the lower tier markets, right? Markets that are paying less. Philippines, India, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, those are lower tier countries. Mostly paid paid playlisting and streaming farms are originating from those countries. So that's the only source or that's the only basis of platforms in claiming they know how much of a stream would be coming from free and would be coming from paid. Does that make sense? Okay. So a more probable measure is the free versus paid plus the geographic streams analysis. So you have free tier heavy markets. I've mentioned them: India, Philippines, Vietnam, and then lower paying markets. The same thing. So, um, for example, because Blackpink, the sources of their streams are primarily coming from Indonesia and Thailand. India, um, Brazil, lower that many Latin American countries are actually lower pay markets. Mexico, Vietnam. So because these are the same countries where streaming farms are and where paid playlisters are, then they're going to take a certain percentage of that and assume that's coming from paid playlisting, not necessarily organic. Okay. And then, so when it comes to playlisting, there are three. They claim two, but actually three: editorial playlists, algorithmic playlists, and paid playlisting. So, editorial playlistings, usually that's paid, that is recommended by the platform itself. So, for Spotify, TTH, Today's Top Hits, that's an editorial playlist, but you actually can pay for you to get into that playlist. Okay. Algorithmic playlist would be driven by listeners' behaviors. So there are certain, sorry about my dog barking. So there are certain playlists on Spotify that are supposed to be automatic, meaning they put a song in based on the demand. Okay. However, you can still pay to get to those, to get inside those playlists. And then paid playlisting would be those that you pay for so that you can get exposed to a number of streams. So for example, some playlisting services would charge you, this is an example actually. So play this is a playlisting service. So for example, if you pay 4 grand, you will be included in 504 playlists. And then if you go up, for example, you demand that only playlists with at least 100,000 subscribers, those are your targets. Then the rate goes up. Okay. And then this is another one. You can see they even have reviews on Trustpilot. Trustpilot is paid, by the way. So this is another one. Um, if you pay, what is that? 2 grand? 2 grand? Is that, does it say 2 grand? Then you can, maybe I can make it bigger. 2300. 2300. Then you get included in 400 playlists or something like that. Um, isn't this what is going on with the, yes, that's what's going on with the remix of that song. This one can get you, this one promises the number of streams. So if you pay 2 grand, you get 140,000 streams instead of playlists. These are different companies, by the way. So if you just, even if you just search on Google, like playlisting services, they're going to give you like a bunch of playlisting companies. And then you can just choose your program. You either target number of playlists or you target the number of streams. So it's a pretty common service. Okay. So um, just to review, most of these playlisters, because if you pay for these services, sorry, if you are a playlister, like if you actually have playlists on Spotify, for example, and then like many people follow you, like you have 10,000 people following your playlists, you can sign up in these services. Okay, you can sign up on the services. And then from there, if someone wants their song included in your playlist, they can pay you. Okay. So that's actually um one way people can make money, right? You just create playlists, you promote it, and then you sign up in these companies, and then you get paid. You just put it in your playlist. Now, the the your fee is going to depend on your geographic location and how much your playlist is actually getting played. So again, if you're in the US, you get paid more because they want the US market. But if you're located in the Philippines, in India, and you have a playlist, then you're probably going to get paid less. Okay. Is that what's called payola? They call it marketing. They call it marketing. Okay, so now people, the services or platforms that claim, oh, we know how much of a stream is actually free and how much is paid, paid playlisting. This is how they estimate. They look at the sources of the streams, which country the stream is coming from. If they are heavy on countries where paid playlisting is common, then they will make an estimate based on that. Um, so yeah, so the advantage, that is basically the advantage of SSERAFIM. They are heavy on higher paying markets like the US. Where is it? Okay. They're heavy on Singapore, US, Canada, Taiwan, Japan, and of course South Korea. Those are high paying markets. I did not include a lot of, but I will extend it. So I will do a more comprehensive computation for the different um, girl groups for the Friday live stream. But at least you have a better idea on why they are getting paid more. Playlisting can definitely play a part in it, but I don't think, I'm pretty sure Chartmaster, well, I guess unless they have a connection, I don't think Chartmaster know how much playlisting a specific act is paying for. Um, and then I will also do a computation of the different songs of BTS versus their solo songs. So I did a computation per member. I picked out a song where they wrote it primarily, and then a song which someone else wrote, and then I computed the difference. So I'll do that on Friday. Okay. Any questions? So pay to play. Yes, it's pay to play. Yes, yeah. And you can actually make money from here. I was actually approached by a company, a paid playlisting company, who was encouraging me to create a playlist on Spotify. He said like, oh, you can create like an Asian playlist, Asian artist playlist, promote it, and then once you get 10,000 followers on your playlist, get in touch with us again, and then we'll list you. And I'm like, that is gonna go against the principle of what I'm doing. And they're like, no, it's like blah blah. But yeah. So I kind of know how it works. If you build 10,000 is the minimum, usually you get 10,000 followers on your playlist, you'll probably earn some money. It's not a lot. So the more followers you have, naturally, the more money they're going to offer you. But if you want to try it, that's one way for you to make money. If we use station head two, does that change the country to that channel's host country? You know what? I really don't know how how station head works, so I can't answer that question. I would like to say no, just thinking about it from a technical perspective, unless because it's all about the IP. Unless station head changes your IP, then it might change it to the host country. On the other hand, one of the things that I was told is that I should encourage people to play directly from my playlist instead of using services like Station Head. So I'm assuming that there's a reason for that. But I was encouraged, like, one those are one of the things that are on the so they gave me a list on how to build the playlist and whatever, like whatever. So one of those things would be that you should encourage your subscribers to always play from your playlist instead of using platforms like Station Head. Okay. I sent you an email this evening. Okay, I will look at it. Okay, any questions before we move on to the production cost? Have you seen the footage? Yes, we were looking at it in the beginning of this live stream. Some act street streaming as part of the marketing effort, I guess. Yeah, you don't really earn much. I mean, unless you're August D. Unless you're August D, you're the only song. You're the lone songwriter. Then I guess it is kind of significant until taxes hit. But I guess that's true for any kind of earning that you have. But yeah, streaming is not really a major income driver for a lot of people. That has always been like that's like a yeah, that's been true for decades now. That streaming is not necessarily a source of income. It's more a marketing tool. The real money is coming from tours, brand deals, and merch. I hate it after my own playlist ends. This BP songs come after, which I don't like. You can block them, I think. Okay, any other question before I move on to the next one? Isn't this what's going on with the Dracula remix? Yeah. Although I don't know if this is Jenny that's doing it or her label. Remember that she's under Universal, right? She signed under Universal, and Universal is a heavy playlister. So they have a lot of deals with different platforms, and so uh, it may not be her. In all fairness to her, it may be her label that's doing it. Sometimes when I listen to the new songs in Spotify release playlist, I don't like a song after the chorus and stop listening to it. Yeah, if you don't, it really pays to unlike it. Like tell the platform that you do not want this song or um this singer to recommend them to you, and I think they will stop. Okay, questions on Spotify. Turn off automatic play. Touring merch are back. Are the bank for artists nowadays? Streaming is more promotion. It is correct. That is correct. That is correct. Okay, before I move on to the next topic, do you have questions? So I was actually Yeah, I tell it that they don't like it afterwards on the Spotify release playlist. Thank you. Actually, one of the okay, so let's go to the next topic, and then there are some things that I want to tell you. So, questions before I move on to computing how much BTS is spending for their concert for the stage setup. This is pretty good, huh? I'm starting to like the color. Is this like, okay. Anyway, I'm starting to like the color of this one. Okay, let's move on to the computation of the songs. The production cost. Sorry about my dog. Do you hear my dog? Okay, so blue dot epidemic. So this is just the blue dot virus is actually what they call it. This is a new industry term. You really like the color, and you're also starting to like it. Okay, so the blue dot epidemic. This is just a name that they're calling it. Essentially, that's when a concert isn't selling. That's what it is. When a concert isn't selling. So when you go to Ticketmaster, you see a lot of blue dots. So blue dots would be available seats. That's it. That's what it is. So when a concert is not selling, they call it the blue dot epidemic or the blue dot fever or the blue dot virus. A lot of artists nowadays are actually um, not selling their tickets. So a lot of artists are canceling their tours. I think the latest one that canceled is Dolls, I think, right? They just canceled theirs. I know there's another one, a Western artist who canceled their tours. And a lot of people are kind of like shocked about it because they are so used to specifically K-pop artists. There are a lot of they're so shocked because you have quite a number of K-pop acts that are selling out arenas, not necessarily stadiums but arenas, and that's still very impressive, right? So um SSERAFIM actually sold out their arena tour in the US, their debut tour in the US, in North America. Of course, you have Twice, you have Stray Kids. Twice just broke the record for the biggest tour for a North America for a girl group. So they got 550,000 attendees. They did all arena, no stadium for that one, but they played more shows and on more venues. Megan Trainor, there you go. Megan Trainor is the one that, yeah, Post Malone, Zayn Malik, yeah, so they canceled all of their tours. So a lot of people are like really shocked that many of these artists who are supposed to be topping the charts and are garnering the streams aren't really selling their tickets. So, and that's like one of the biggest disconnects because numbers are easy to be used as a bragging right, right? So when an artist gets 1 million streams or they outstream a certain artist, they're like, they're more popular, and they're not. It does not equate to popularity. It could be that your label is just promoting you more. So the one that you have on your screen is actually ESPA, just in case you want to see them live. There's still a lot of tickets left. They are playing 9 dates, I think, in the US, 10 if you include Canada, and they still have a lot of tickets left. So this is one. This is Washington, and this is New York. So still a lot of tickets if you want to buy. Um, they might end up okay, anyway. So it is not one does not mean the other. Just because you're streaming a lot does not mean that you can sell those tickets. So at the end of the day, you have to look at, like, if you want to see how successful an act is, you have to look at it from a general perspective. Like, you have to look at the different aspects of their sales before you conclude how successful they are. If you're selling 10 million albums and you can't sell um a 10,000 or a 7,000 theater in the US, then probably there's something there's something wrong with that. Um, so I guess we need to be more appreciative of just how good s- K-pop acts are actually doing in the US, because some of them are not selling, but many of them are selling. As I've said, Stray Kids, um, Twice, just recently, LE SSERAFIM. Um, those are not easy things to do. I think people have this concept that unless you're selling stadiums like BTS, you're not successful. I think that's unfair. I've always said BTS is more a an exception to the rule. So probably don't measure it against that. Against BTS, don't measure anybody against BTS because they're just gonna fail. So it's better to actually look at K-pop without BTS. Then you're gonna get a better idea on how success. You'll be more likely get a more accurate idea in judging who are the more popular acts. The Seraphim Cats, I played theaters though, but they did sell out. Yeah. I think they're going to do another tour at the end of the year, and they're going to go for bigger venues. And Hypen selling. And Hypen is selling, I think. I'm not sure if they have opened their ticketing for the US. I'm not sure. This is AESPA that you're looking at. SM groups are not doing as well here. SM groups are not doing as well here. Well, there are some hype groups that are not doing as well here as in the US either, like 17, right? They did not sell out. It's not bad. I mean, it was like 70%, 72% sell rate. So I don't think that's bad. But then again, you have acts like Twice and Hypen that are selling out, and TXT that are selling out their arena tours. Why can't some of these groups go on tour together? There's gonna be war. Okay, before I go to the computation, the production cost of BTS, Cordis is actually very close to crossing 2 million in their album sales. They are now at 1.950 million for their second album. So their first album sold, as of April 29, they sold 2.1 million copies. So, and that is 7 months. So that was the count as of April 29. So, but for this second album, day three, they already are very close. Most likely they're going to cross within 1 week, they're going to cross 2 million. Okay. So congratulations to them. Also they in Spotify, so they entered Spotify US as well at 134 for daily top songs. And then for all Korean acts, they are second to BTS. It's a far second, but still a second. So BTS has 6 million, I believe, and they have 2 million. Not bad, right? So they are number two, but still, that's still number two. So congratulations to Cordis. So they entered US Spotify, they entered US Apple Music, um, and then based on their numbers, I have a separate computation for this. Based on their numbers, they have a separate video for Cordis. But based on their numbers, the biggest contributor to their streams, US. It's bigger than South Korea. Congratulations to them. I was writing the piece for them last night, and I was thinking like, the last several years, everyone is talking, or everyone's discussing how there isn't any new group that's like dominating. And I think we found it here. Okay, so BTS in Mexico, we looked at the crowd earlier in front of their palace. So they visited the National Palace, and I think they're going to be. This is a part of the This Is for Youth program of Mexico. I know that the president worked really hard in trying to get them to visit the palace. So aside from, she did write a letter to the president of South Korea requesting that the president of South Korea appeal to Big Hit that they add another date for the Mexico tour. And it also included a request for BTS to actually appear in the palace. And I think the reason BTS did was to support this program. I'm not sure what this program is, but you can see that they actually deployed the national police in front of the palace in preparation for the arrival of BTS. I saw another video of armies actually singing Butter while waiting for BTS. So apparently they waved from the balcony and they delivered the speech. So this is part of the crowd waiting for them. Okay. So you should see the photo they took inside the palace. Our guys looks awesome. Oh, they always do. Let's see if I can find it. BTS. Or maybe I should do the computation first and then let's look at the photos. Okay. Let's do the computation first. So, Nadira, Fearing, thank you for all that you do. I know how much work goes into putting these presentations together. Thank you, Nadira. Thank you. Okay, so venue rental. It can cost you anywhere between 300,000 and 1 million. And I know that's a huge difference. Um, Primarily because that's the range really when you're renting a stadium. It depends on the season. There are high seasons, and then it also depends on when you book it. So the earlier you book it, the cheaper it is, but still depends on the season that you're booking it. And then there's also a difference in what you're requiring of the stadium. So for example, if it is there are rentals that are just private and or it could be a public event. It could involve staffing, more staffing, less staffing. It could involve more utilities if you're going to utilize the entirety of the stadiums and all the rooms and all the whatever. So it really depends. So that's why the range is really, really big. So it could be anywhere between 300,000 and 1 million. Now, okay, what they usually do to lessen the number of days in renting the stadium, because remember you're renting it per day. Even if your show is only for a night, for example, if you're only using it for one night, if you're setting up for a day before, you're still renting it on that day, right? So the moment you ingress, the moment that you step in to start work, you're already renting the stadium. Now we all know that BTS starts setting up 2 to 3 days before. So they're already paying for the venue 2 to 3 days before. Their egress is faster, almost in less than 6 hours. It's the ingress that actually takes time. So usually what happens is that for things to go faster, before the actual concert, they are going to put together the stage in another area. So, for example, if this is a stadium, they're going to rent a soundstage, an open park, another stadium, and that's where they will start putting together everything. In other words, they are rehearsing the ingress because everything has to move faster when they do the actual tour. Because you can't lax. I mean, you can't be slow. Otherwise, you're going to be paying more for the venue. So for 5 days, a week, 10 days, no matter how many days it takes, they'll rent a venue and they will start rehearsing, putting together the stage. So you are essentially, everything is like it's set. You know which one's gonna come in, which boxes are to be opened first, which is going to be put together first, and then dismantle it and then do it again until you reach the maximum, the most efficient way of putting together the stage. Okay. So it seems that so usually they try their very best to do this in a day because you do not want to be renting the stadium for more than a day because it's expensive. I mean, even if you're renting it for 300,000, that's still 300,000, right? Okay. So, but it seems that for BTS, they're actually renting it days before. So the rental cost is actually higher. Okay. Now, the 1 million, usually if you pay a million, that already includes everything: venue lease, staffing, utilities, security baseline, union labor, cleanup, insurance requirements. Okay. So the venue itself has insurance and then the promoter has needs to have an insurance as well. However, because for BTS, they will be using the setup, they only need minimum staffing for that, and also minimum utilities because the artists aren't there yet. It's just really the setup, so that's cheaper. So take that into consideration. What we're presenting is actually just the estimate. Okay. So then you're looking at anywhere between 300,000 to 1 million per night just for the rental of the place, including lease, staffing, utilities, security, union labor cleanup, and insurance requirements. Okay, so that's for venue rental. For somebody like BTS, it could go up to 1.5 for the day itself, for the concert itself, because you also include load in, load out, exclusive stadium use, city scale crowd management, because they are managing the entire city, not just the crowd itself. That's how big BTS is. So they require more staffing, more security, coordination with the local government, and all of those stuff. So the more realistic estimate would be 500 to 1.5 for the concert day itself, and then lower for the ingress or load in day. Okay. Okay. Now, the thing that you do, according to, so that's just for the rental of the place. The stage itself is another cost. According to U2, the 36, because U2 did a 360 stage, the cost of the stage across all their venues is 40 million. So that includes designing, technical, all of those things. It's 40 million. That's the cost of it for all the shows that they did. I think they did like 100. I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember. 70 something. I don't know. So they did the 360 stage and it cost them 40 million distributed across all shows, not for one show. Okay, so that's for the 360 stage. So we're going to assume that for BTS, that's right around the same cost. Probably more, but we're going to assume that. Okay. We're going to assume it's 14 million. Okay. Now, um, assuming the same price for BTS, if they're paying 40 million for the stage for all shows, you divide it into 80 shows. We're not talking 100. Let's just divide it into 80 shows. That means, aside from the venue cost, you have the stage itself, which costs you 500,000. So if your average day cost is your, let's just assume that you per night you're paying 1 million plus the stage you're paying 1.5 million for the concert day itself. So that's already 1.5 million. If you're earning, let's assume if for example you're earning 3 million per night in one stadium show, half of it already goes to the stage. And the venue rental. So you have the venue cost that includes staffing, insurance, lighting, utilities, and then you have the stage itself, 500,000 per show. Okay. Um, Now, aside from that, you have the production cost. And these are the people that you need in order to operate all of it. So you have trucking. So trucking would be your rental because the stage needs to be transported from one state to another. So you have trucking, crew, rigging, stagehands, pyros, lighting operators, broadcast staff, rehearsals, transportation, hotels, catering. You still pay for all of that. Okay. BTS, this is what I heard, just for the seven of them, they would rent an entire floor for BTS. And then the floor above and the floor below to make sure that BTS is secure. Okay. I don't know if they put the staff. It's very possible that they put the staff on the floor above and on the floor below. But BTS has the entire floor all to themselves. If they have family members, they put it in the same floor. They put them in the same floor. But floor up, the floor above, floor below, that's all blank. That's all for BTS. So all of these people, they need to pay for them and also their accommodation and their food. So you're probably looking at another 1 million for all of that. Okay. While 3 floors allegedly with staff and family members. Yes, allegedly. Okay, so rough estimate. Rough estimate. Stadium is about 500 to 1.5 million. Pre-show production operations 1 million to 3 million. Security and logistics 300 to 1 million. So total per show, you're probably looking at 2 to probably 5.5 million, who knows. I'm going to put it at 3. 3 million. Now, the only thing that you do need to consider is that BTS actually stays in one location for 3 to 4 shows. So that brings the cost down because they don't do an egress. So they don't dismantle the stage. Excuse me. It stays there. So that's kind of cheaper. You're just paying for sorry, if they have 4 shows, for example, in Allegiant, for the days when they're not going to be using the stadium, they're going to leave it blank, meaning it's just there. You do need to pay for security and for some utilities, but you don't need to pay for the staff. So that's kind of cheaper. That's why I'm putting it at 3 million. They yes, they do rent the show by the hour. So because BTS does consecutive shows, the production setup cost is lower since they don't egress each show. Okay, so that's one thing to consider. Now, for the Tampa show, just for ticket sales itself, just for the ticket sales itself, they said 190,000 attendees. If we put the average, this is not official. This is my estimate. If and you know I always go conservative. If they put ticket price average at $150, that means that for 3 days, right? For 3 days they earned 28,500,000, 28.5 million. So the estimate gross ticket sales would be 28.5 million before taxes, before fees, costs, promoter splits, and production costs. Okay, now, for BTS, they also so remember 28.5 million is their ticket sales gross before cuts and before taxes, and they're spending on a per show basis anywhere between 2 to 5 million. Okay, I'm gonna put it at 3. Okay, so that means that if we put it at 3, 28.5 million minus 9 million, that's what you're looking at before the cut of the promoter, all of those things. Okay. Taxes, fees, and more taxes. And then the other expense that they have is that they actually bring their staff with them. They have a fixed staff. So they hire people on a per state. There are certain staff members that you hire on the location itself, but then they also have more that they bring with them, or like wherever they go. So that would be between 150 to 300 people, potentially 300 because it's BTS. You have 7 people to take care of. Okay, so 7 people. Who are this production crew? You have stage managers, lighting directors, LED technicians, rigging supervisors, sound engineers, pyros, camera operators, live stream staff, automations, and automation specialists. And so for BTS alone, it could be easy 150 people. Stage managers, lighting directors, because you don't want to be replacing those people per concert. You want them with you because it's going to cost you more if you're going to be rehearsing with these people each stop, right? So might as well just bring them. You're not going to ask BTS to rehearse every time there is a new technical person. Okay. So they bring this with them, these people. And then you also have stylists, makeup artists. Okay. And then artist support staff. This is specific for each member of BTS. You have managers, coordinators, translators, stylists, makeup artists, hair teams, wardrobe, physiotherapists. BTS has this medical staff, security. So just for BTS alone, just for their needs, it could be 40 to 80 people. Easy, easy. Okay. BTS probably has more. You have somebody, yeah, BTS has more. So they have they have they have people in their staff that other artists don't usually have, other K-pop artists don't usually have. You know that someone is ready with an oxygen for them after each performance. Um and then you have physical therapists ready for them just in case they pull a muscle or whatever. They also have sanitation people. They do have porta potty on stage and below the stage, just in case someone needs to go right away. You have to be ready with all of that. Um, their wardrobe, they're very, very detailed. And you need to take care of them. So they actually bring more stylists than they need. BTS is very big on security. So even the assistant of the assistant has to be fixed because you don't want multiple people seeing what you do, seeing them having access to their rooms, to their green rooms. Okay. They do have nutritionists. They do have a chef on stage, on traveling with them. And then, of course, you have the creative performance team. You have the dancers, band musicians, if they ever have one, rehearsal staff, performance directors. And you also have your sources are granular. Yeah. And you also have, what do you call this? Like backup dancers, not the backup, but the backup of the backup, just in case someone is missing, someone can take their place. What do you call that in theater? Stand in, not a stand in. Um, Someone who's ready to take the place of like the lead. So 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 yeah, the emotional support dog, it belongs to the tour manager. Okay, the tour manager has her own uh nanny for the dog. Okay. So the assistant understudy, there you go. So they have understudies as well. That's just there for them. Okay, for the dancers. Okay. And then you have tour administration, you have accountants. Accountants actually travel with them. They do operations, tracking coordinators, hospitality managers, travel coordinators, sponsorship coordinators. So for accountants, everything that BTS spends, that goes to the accountant right away, or the staff of the accountant. Okay. So if BTS spends for, I don't know, if if Jungkook decides he wants ramen and decides to just buy from a convenience store instead of asking somebody, that expense has to go to the bookkeeper or whoever's going to be representing the team of the accountant. If they decide I want to buy a new shirt, then they need to buy that. Like, um if they want a new pair of shoes for that, then that Starbucks run, yes, all of those things. One person that I interviewed in my show used to be a production assistant for MTV, right? So one of his roles before he became a program manager, he was a production assistant. And literally his role was to stand by and wait for what the artist is going to ask for. Like that was his role. So one of the crazy things that he talked about was, I think it was Patty LaBelle who wanted Popeye's chicken. So imagine you have, because they cater, right? They cater. So from sun up to sundown, food is there for them. Especially in the U.S., they're very, very the union here is very strict. So you have food 24/7. But at that time, the artist said, I want Popeye's chicken. So he has to run for Popeye's chicken. And that can happen to BTS. So you have catering. But if suddenly Jungkook says, I want In and Out Burger, then you're gonna have to run and get In and Out Burger. The expenses of that goes to the accountant that has to be reported. Who asked for it? When did they ask for it? Give me the receipt, and then someone who's going to run for it. Okay, so so they also have like, what about laundry of the costume? That goes to the stylist team. So that goes to the stylist team. But that's why they have a lot of stylists. Okay. So there's a lot of like stories here because like you need to think about like, what about their underwear? Who takes care of that? Did they give it to the stylist? Like things like that. Um BTS has personal assistants as well. So they have personal managers. They call them personal assistants. So but yeah, they have they call it managers, personal managers, but they actually have personal assistants that take care of things that the team stylists don't necessarily talk about. JK does it. So alleged so some this is these are just stories that I'm hearing, unconfirmed, purely rumors. Like BTS are foodies. Like they really, really are very like they like food. And if someone mentions something and the rest of the team is like, hey, that sounds good, then you're just gonna have to run for it. And the thing is that they don't necessarily have to demand. It's just that you want to make them happy, right? This is your artist. You want them to be in a good mood. If you're the manager, your job is to make sure that they are all set or all happy, all in a good mood for the show. And you don't want anything to happen that would put their mind out of it. If they are frustrated about something because there is a dog that keeps on barking, or because Jimin wants to pet a cat, you give them whatever it is that they need to make them happy. Okay. Okay, and then you have local laborers. So aside from the staff that they bring, they also hire people on the location itself. So police coordination, cleaners, forklift operators, electricians. Single stadium show can involve anywhere between 500 to 1500 people, including security. You also have local stage-hands, security, concession staff in the location itself. Usually food is locally based, but they are booked ahead of time. Now, unless there are certain artists that would want the same caterer all the time. There are artists like that. Like if they want, oh, I like this artist, I like this caterer, so they just bring that caterer all the time. For BTS, they hire locally. So yeah, so that is local. Okay, next, oh, okay. So that's why sponsors are very important. So the ticket cost, the ticket cost can actually cover like all of that, right? So the earnings will be coming from merch and whatever. Now, I've mentioned to you, I've discussed before that this is actually not how essentially you compute the earnings. It's not like a clean thing. It's not like okay, all expenses of the concert will come off the show, the tickets. So that means BTS does not earn from ticket sales because of the expenses. That's not how it works. The expenses, you actually distribute that across different sources of income. So it's not it's not a hard and fast computation. It's still a very complicated thing. But at least this gives you an idea on how much they're actually spending for the concert. You can make it simpler. You can make it simpler. But BTS did not make it simple for this concert. They have that huge ass LED design, which actually bumped up the cost. They wanted to make that's why they had Samsung to sponsor this. So and then they have those scaffolding. They have so many cameras. The amount of cameras that they have actually beats like a professional, like Hollywood film. Like there are so many cameras on stage. They have drones. They have like just the pyros that they have, the fireworks. The stage is so big for a concert that's not heavy on performance. They actually have a lot of dancers, so they did not hold back on the quality of the performance. But that also equals them earning less because they could have made the stage smaller, I think, and actually seat more people on the floor, not do the parade so that they can extend the number of seats. That would have given more earnings, but they didn't do that. They wanted to go closer, to get closer to BTS, to the fans. They wanted to see the fans. They wanted to do that extension because they wanted to get closer to the fans. They wanted to be able to move. So you know that they didn't pull any punches for this show. Um, thank you. There you go. Anywhere between 3.5 million, between 2 to 3 million, I would say per concert. Um, and that does not include the staff that they bring with them. They always ride around the stadium. And drinks, they are promoting their food and drinks. Yeah, so they have Visa, they have Ari, and they have Samsung. So I wouldn't be surprised if these three together would have in total paid 100 million for the tour. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Because that, yeah, yeah, I think right around that. So, and then you have the ticket sales. So they're definitely covered. So remember, for the sponsors, BTS themselves get directly paid for that. The artist gets paid. They get a cut of however much the sponsorship was. I believe Hybe is expertise in idol groups management by now. I think at the end of the day, they're doing this for Army. Plus, the stage is mechanical. It spins and moves. Yes, I can't wait to see their full flavor of noodles. They also make sure that Bang and Tang. Okay, so do you have questions? I still have 9 minutes. I don't want to start another topic because I know the Coachella is now getting pushed back another time, another day. But for the next live stream, for the members only live stream, I actually prepared a computation for the revenue of some of the streams of each member. There's also someone who published like the highest earning idols for 2026 so far, and whatever. JK is number one. I don't doubt that. I mean, with the amount of brand deals that he launched before the tour, most likely. I mean, and also he gets a lot of streams. But also, um, just many of this accounts on Facebook and Twitter, they actually just make numbers up just so they could, so for clicks basically. So um make sure that you take it with a grain of salt. A lot of this are just really farming for clicks. Um, unless there is some sort of a computation behind it. It's actually kind of odd because when I did the computation so I estimated the number of the revenue, the gross revenue of BTS for Goyang, Japan, and I included uh live cinema earnings and also the Weverse streaming. And I was very conservative in my estimate. And I said that this is an estimate. Like, this is a conservative estimate and this is an estimate. It's not official. I just based it on official numbers that were published. Okay. And then went conservative. Um so a lot of people were like, you shouldn't publish this, and whatever. And then someone published something with absolutely no backup, and they just believe it. It's like- anyway, odd. Okay, you wanted to, no, okay. Not many people explain their calculation. Yeah, I guess so. So I just wanted to see if we can see BTS. Okay. Someone said that they looked stunning. Here. I'll share it with you. There's actually someone who posted a video of them on the balcony. Sorry. Now it's buffering. So this is a picture that they posted, or the palace posted of them. Wow. They look so good. You're Latina. Can you estimate the number of people? 300,000 more? Is that true? The people that showed up? Wow. They look so good. Okay. Whoa. That's only 300,000? Are you sure? Are you sure it's only 300,000? Nah, I don't think so. I do not think so. That's a lot. Let's look at look at JK. Still the Macne. They're crying. That's not 300,000. Ah, I don't know the place, so I can't estimate. There's actually like look at that. Oh, I can also imagine like the boys actually had like a lot of fun doing that. I mean, that's them. Oh my gosh. Jungkook. So I know about the so info courtesy of Kugi. Yes, it was her who or him who showed them. So I know the issue about the merch in Mexico. So apparently people lined up very early, and I think the Mexico staff allowed some of the scalpers to to go in early. They bought everything, and then they started selling to the people that were on queue, which was not a very good thing. So um, I'm a she. Oh, Kugi is a she. Um, I still believe that Guangwamun was sabotaged by the police being too cautious. No, I was there, so I know the amount of people that were actually in Seoul but couldn't go inside Gwangwamon. Um, so I saw them. Like I've told you the story, like all the way around, like the from the barricade itself from the outside. It's just like ridiculous the amount of security that they implemented. But I'm also thinking about the other side of it, right? Like the threat was real. Like people were really willing to sabotage and do anything. Like we know how crazy people are. And I believe that if they weren't that strict, people would actually sabotage that event. I mean, do something to harm other people. And that was just not something that they would have been able to come back from. They would have been clubbered to death. Like this entire tour would have been canceled. Um, they would have been like made to pay billions to victims and stuff. And so at the end of it, I was like, between what could have been and the strictness, I think I'm like, you know what? If this is the best way you think you could have secured the area, it's not the best. Like I would have wanted more armies to have been able to, because there were so many who traveled to Seoul just for that. The amount of people who I mean, I hired I hired a homeless person to just to be able to, and you think I'm the only one? Like no, there were so many other people there who took their chance to go there and without a ticket, just hoping that they could at least, you know, stand somewhere to be a part of the event. I wasn't the only one. I was one of the lucky ones who was able to hire a good homeless person. But okay, so going back, I was told that there were like a lot of people who couldn't buy merch for Mexico. So I would really suggest, especially for those that are going to Vegas, if you can pre-order. So go online and pre-order, um, so that you don't have to. to get subjected to all of the scalpers who are starting to scalp the merch. So so make sure that you pre-order is what I would suggest. Okay. So there's also a threat in Mexico, need to double and triple security. I'm glad that no one was harmed. Overly cautious is better than cautious. Yeah. I mean, I saw it, like the amount of people that were there. Um, the ones that went to the drone show itself, the drone show, if you would remember the drone show, we were over 100,000 people already in the drone show, probably close to 200,000. Like the entire park was packed, like the huge chunk of, like, it's a big event, and we were packed, and that's just the drone show. If you go to the city lounge event, I mean, even way more. So all of those people were there to watch the Guangwamon show, and they couldn't even get in. They were blocked by people. They were blocked by the police. Um, it could have been more, but thinking about what could have happened, what can you do, right? So I'm just thankful that nothing happened. Otherwise, I don't think it was an event that they would have gone back, they could have recovered from. But I hear you, and I definitely share that. To hear the press, it didn't happen, they were a flop. True. You need space for access for emergency personnel in case someone faints or has medical emergency. Just thinking of that makes me feel claustrophobic. What I do say though is that they could have sold more tickets. That I think was a big um hindrance that the police put unnecessarily, because they could have sold more tickets. Our area itself, we had more than enough space to move. Like, so the barricaded area for the standing section, there were like probably like half. This there were still half of the space was vacant. So you know that they could have sold more tickets, but I think it was a mandate by the local government to sell only this many tickets. So that I think definitely was like to I think that you could have sold more. For sure, you could have sold more. And then the other thing is that I understand why they made it unavailable to I mean available to the public, but I think some preference to BTS armies would have been good as well, but I think it's a mandate by the local government to open it to everybody. Um, which I don't understand, because BTS paid, Big Hit paid for everything. They paid for the setup, they paid for the security, they paid for everything. So if you're paying for everything, why not allow some benchmarks in requirements, like allow BTS armies to get preferences when it comes to ticket sales or whatever. But what can you do? Okay. Thank you very much for staying. I will be seeing you on Friday for the live stream. And I think after that, that would be the concert, right? Or not, or no. So, but anyway, I'll see you Friday. And then that would be for members only. And then I'll present more computations for you guys for each member, and also more details on other things. Okay, thank you. Bye, everybody. Oh, giveaways. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. I'll do a separate one for that. Okay, bye, everybody.